YouTube. Thank y'all for joining again. I got a quick little brief cameo real quick. Somebody who makes sure that the topic I'm gonna hit y'all with, that I don't go back, right? So why don't you want daddy to eat peanut butter?
Because you can't get fat again.
Exactly. Now give me a kiss and go eat. Go.
Can I see it?
Go.
Okay, Dad. Wait, there's stuff.
Go. All right, baby. And shut my door.
Okay, I will.
All right. Yeah, y'all, that's my little butt. That's my baby. And she was real serious. She don't want me eating peanut butter because she don't want me getting fat again. And she know that peanut butter had me in a chokehold. But that just goes along with the topic I wanted to talk about today that I haven't seen a lot of fitness influencers or influencers talk about in general. And that's regaining it all back after you've lost it. I look to that subject because it just caught me off guard as I'm scrolling and just, coming up with something not coming up with something to talk about, but like doing some real research to see like, what are we missing? What are we missing in this certain field? Why do people go back? Why do people gain all that weight back? Because I know during this journey, we're taught to show up for ourselves straight up. And it's not something that you're taught from the outside. It's literally what you're taught yourself, by yourself, for yourself on this journey. That if you can open that front door to the gym, you've shown up. And when you go in there, you got to put in the work. You actually have to grind. It doesn't make sense to wake up 3, 4, 5 in the morning just to go in there and bullshit, only to still go off and eat some goofy shit, right? It doesn't make any sense. So we're taught to really immerse yourself in this grind. We're taught to show up for yourself every day. Don't make excuses. Regardless of how you feel, regardless of what's going on in your life, you still show up. So it baffled me to see some of these stories about how, yes, I was 275 pounds and then I went down to 180, 190 shredded lean. And then in a year, I'm back up to 2 something. But it's not in an aesthetic way. It's back to being fat, a fat body. So I don't understand it. And I started to just read a couple articles about, the psychology behind that. And what I come to see, now I'm nobody's doctor, I'm nobody's psychotherapist or anything, but I'm pretty good at putting 2 and 2 together. So much so that people don't like my math. And I can tell you, I'd be like, what's 1 plus 1? They'd be like, 2, you idiot. I said, nope. 1 plus 1 is 3 if you don't wear a condom. That's the best math you're going to get, right? But the way I looked at that was that the reason why they gained it all back is because their identities didn't fully shift. So when you break that down further, it means they probably went on that journey for a reason other than the right reason. So I know plenty of guys that be like, oh man, I went and got in shape for my lady, because I felt she was slipping. And now that I got back in shape, she's all on me. She's not acting shady. She ain't doing all this other shit. That was the wrong reason to do it. In my opinion, IMO, right? You did that for someone else and you didn't do it for you. Your timing is going to be your timing. It just has to be on your timing, right? A canon life event is your timing. Your girl telling you, hey, I want you to look like this so that I stay attracted to you. That's not your timing. You're doing that for somebody else. So I can see the likelihood of somebody going back and reverting back to, their old ways because their identity never shifted. They never became the best version of themselves for themselves. They did it for somebody else. And because they did it for somebody else, it didn't fully stick. And because it didn't fully stick, now you back eating, ho-hos. And I seen some shit on TikTok the other day. I was like, damn, when I hit my 91st day to where I can fuck some shit up, I actually might try that. They took a Twinkie, stuck a Kit Kat in there, put it in the air fryer, and that dude, he murdered it. He ended up eating like 20 of them shits. I was like, you know what? That's some real big backetry. And I think I might try that. But do you know why I feel like I can get away with that in another 90 days? It's because I know that after I eat that bullshit, I'm going to feel bad. But guess what I'm going to do the next day? Right back on track. Oh, and guess what else? I'll have the room to fuck that shit up because I will be at 10, 11% body fat, not to exceed 15% body fat. And I'll still be at 180, 190 in that range. So it's not going to hurt me as bad as it's going to hurt somebody who don't have the habits that I have, and that's waking up every morning, thanking God and getting on my mission to better myself. And that's staying in the gym. The gym ain't just physical for me. It's very, very much so mental. I cried in there. I wept in there. I was joyful in there. I was angry. I was sad. I went through a myriad of emotions going to the gym. And that's the one place to where I feel that no matter what's going on in my life, that's the one place I can go to get some clarity after praying. That's the identity that came along with being the best version of myself. Is me knowing to put myself first. And what better way to put yourself first is that 10, 15-minute walk to the gym. And not only you doing that 10 to 15-minute walk, you're praying, you're thinking. And then when you go in the gym, you're going into war. And that's when you break down the breakdown. That's when you really focus on what's going on in your life and what's the best thing that's going to be for you. That level of patience is one of the benefits of that journey. And whenever people don't discover that, or they get these fast results, it just doesn't stick. And it's so easy for them to revert back to who they were because they never left who and what they were. They just did these short things, these short fixes, or the wrong reasons to get to where they are now. And then when something goes left, let's say that girl left them anyway. This dude had a more defined six pack, or this dude got a little more money, and she still left. Instead of him staying on his regiment and doing what he got to do, he falls off because he did it for her. And instead of having that abundance mindset of, damn, okay, she fell off, I'll just go get two more. I'll just fuck her entire friend group. He's not like that, because the him now is so enamored by her, and he's so fucked up now that he didn't do this for himself. He don't know what to do next. He doesn't. Y'all got to excuse me scratching my face. The new growth is coming in, and it's crazy, right? But whenever a lot of these folks make their regression, it's all about that identity not shifting. And that's why I'm a firm believer in not taking gear, not doing these quick fix, like those get rich quick schemes, don't lose weight fast scheme, because you're going to lose it all once everything just completely falls apart again, because it's not ingrained into who you are now. It's just not. I was literally just joking with my son 10, 15 minutes ago. He was like, hey, what you want to eat? I'm going to Whataburger. Oh, I don't know. I was like, bro, I only been here a couple of days. I'm not trying to completely change your eating habits. I was messing with him. I was giving him shit about how fucked up it is, and you can't work out with me no more if you want to eat like shit. He know I was just messing with him, but he doesn't have the identity yet to understand the importance of eating clean 95% of the year and just fucking up a meal whenever you want to, the other 5%, because you dieting too long is really not good for you. And sometimes you do need that break to see the results. However, it's what you eat. Because right now I eat the same thing every day. The salmon, the chicken, y'all know what I eat. I've expressed it a million times. But even when I decide to go to maintenance or bulk, I'm going to eat the exact same food, just more of it, because that's the shit I crave now. I don't crave burgers anymore. And if I do want a burger, I'm going to go get the leanest ground beef I can get. I'm going to actually make my own buns from tuna. Like, you can actually put tuna and egg in a blender or a food processor, make it so liquidy, and you put it in the oven, it becomes a fucking bun. Right? It's just got a fishy taste because I've done it before. So I'll make a cheese, and then I'll go get some low fat American cheese or some low fat cheese and instead of using mayo or light mayo, I'm just gonna get some Greek yogurt and season it and put some lemon juice in it and make my own kind of like mayo substitute. And that's not even gonna be a bad meal, because 100% of that meal is whole food and fucking healthy. That's because my identity shifted. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Peanut butter had me in a motherfucking chokehold. So when I'm looking on Instagram sometime and they making my favorite banana bread muffins or banana bread anything is my favorite, and you drizzle some fucking crunchy peanut butter melted on the top, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit. That's some shit I will fuck up on my fuck up days. But as far as like, eating pork, I don't eat pork for religious reasons anyway. But the pork and the goofy shit, the French fries, I can still have a healthy fucked up meal by all those ingredients I told you about. And instead of going to McDonald's and getting arguably the best fries known to man, I gotta say, actually Burger King got better fries. I can just cut up my own potatoes into the shape, put them in the air fryer, season them real good, And I still got way less calories and bad shit than them being wrapped in grease and just boiling in that, you know? So I would rather just take my own version of the healthiest shit that I really want, and I'll be more content. I can do smash burgers, but that meat gonna be what, 96.4. That cheese is gonna be low fat American. That bun gonna be made of tuna and egg. And I know it sounds crazy. Yeah, man, this dude is insane. But that's the level of locked in that I'm in. That's just what it is. I'm not gonna feel bad when I'm eating, you know, that burger and those fries, because I know 100% of it's whole food and 100% of it is healthy. You know, I'm not gonna go to McDonald's and order some shit that I don't know what's in it and it's clone meat, and then I'm sitting there feeling like a fat ass. I'm feeling horrible after I eat it. But after I eat the shit that I make, I won't feel horrible. I mean, I feel super full, but I know that those are good macros. Those are good everything for me. So the reason why I have a 99% rate chance of surviving and not ever regressing back to being a fucking fat ass is because my identity has fully fucking shifted. This is not a temporary thing. That's what the first 3 months are for, to really, really see how you're gonna establish this, because it takes 21 days to establish a habit. And in books I've read, that's been proven, it takes 21 days to establish a habit. But I think my habit got established in 2 months, because that was around the time I was still fucking up and like, nah, I'm good. I don't want to do this shit no more. But I knew it became me when I was like, I don't want to go to the gym today. And then my body just started moving anyway. It's routine to the body at this point. So I knew that I wasn't going to go back and that I liked the way I feel. I think that when you fully get to that dream physique, when you fully get to that dream weight, when you fully get to that dream body fat percentage, and you get to that full look that you want, you'll never want to go back, because you're gonna love how you feel. You're gonna love how others make you feel. Those compliments, they become addicting than a motherfucker. Especially when you've been fat for so long and somebody say, damn, bro, you look good. And it's like, you talking to me? You know, nope, you don't that shit catches you completely off guard, right? So as you're off guard when these things are happening to you, you not necessarily knowing how to take this shit, because it's addicting at that point, because you've been undesirable and so ugly and fat for so long that when somebody really see the work that you put in and they complimenting you, it'll make you feel so wanted. It'll make you feel like you can achieve anything. Now, that goes along to the dark side of being lean, which I discussed in the previous video, which that shit is real, you know? I don't want to say that women are going to just throw themselves at your feet, but you become the pick of the litter now. Like, I can say today, I went to go visit my boy Ali, because we always talk personal shit. That's truly one of my best friends. And he said, man, come to the dealership, come holler at me. And he a fat dude. He big. He about 6'4", 340. Like he a fat dude. And he know I call him Fat Man. And, you know, but I know that if he turned that switch on, he can do it. And he can get down to his lean self. But Ali is so secure in who he is, he don't give a fuck. Shit, if I was making all that money either, I wouldn't either. But that's what led me to that, because I was making all that money. It didn't matter to me how I looked. But, you know, I looked at the other people at the dealership. I was like, God dang, like these motherfuckers is cooked. Like they were all cooked. Stomach hanging over their bellies. I mean, yeah, stomach hanging over their belts. It was just wild. And I didn't say nothing. No, I didn't like make nobody feel bad, because that used to be me a year ago. You know, wearing hoodies in the fucking summertime because I was trying to hide my body. I got room to talk because I put in the work. But I'm not gonna make nobody else feel like, oh man, now you look like this now. Now you feel like you can talk shit to me. Actually, I can, but to me, that's not respectful. And granted, they clearly don't respect themselves, but it's not my lane to be an asshole to them because of the choices that they make. I understand that schedule. I know what it's like to work 10, 12-hour days, and when you want to go home, you just want to get some attention from your lady and go to fucking sleep. I understand that. And they haven't reached that point to where, hey, I can make a change. I don't want to deal with these excuses no more. That's going to be up to them on their time, right? And if they do it for the wrong reasons, they're going to gain it all back. I can sit here and jump down this rabbit hole of, well, what if they go through a emotional event? What if they lose their mom? What if they lose this person? Me and Luther talked about this plenty of times. It doesn't matter. I know loss hurts, but that's the one thing that's going to happen throughout life. And another thing that's going to happen throughout life, fellas, you got to understand female nature. You just do. You don't even try to understand them because you going to fucking, it ain't going to never happen, bro. It ain't going to work. That motherfucker will love you today and then despise you today. You know, that's just what it is. You got to understand female nature. And when you understand it, you will stop trying to fight it. But or not fight it, but understand it. And I have to say, I still struggle with that shit sometimes. I'm being transparent and honest as fuck, guys. I still struggle with that sometimes because I'm like, logically, this should fucking happen. But it doesn't because that's not the way females think. So, you know, you have to be cool with just focusing on the things that you can control for you. You can't control another person. You can't control what they think. You can't control what they say. So with you taking ownership of you and doing the things that you got to do for you, you don't have to worry about regressing and gaining it all back. That honestly hasn't even crossed my mind. Damn, what if I gained it all back? Bro, I done been into these restaurants. I done drove through the drive-thrus with other people and I still don't get nothing. Now, my food at the house. Well, what you mean, bro? We right here. Yeah, we are right here, but when I get home, I'm gonna eat these 60 grams of potatoes. I'm gonna eat this 400 grams of broccoli. I'm gonna eat this 170 grams of salmon, and that's gonna be my lunch. I don't need all this other shit. I already got my meals planned. I just gotta get home. And it's like, when people see that level of discipline, they have no choice but to respect you because it's easy to say yes. It's very much so hard to say no, especially when you got temptation in front of you. And that's, you gotta understand when you own this journey, it teaches you that. I would love to fuck up a triple meat, triple cheese with extra mayo, tomatoes, extra onions and lettuce, and extra cheese. That was my order at Whataburger at one point. And they knew who I was. I used to eat that 4 or 5 times a week. So when they saw me, it was like, oh shit, Sean's here. They already knew what was up. And I want the mayo sloppy. You know, I want it running off the edges and stuff. That's how much of a fat ass I was. I'm telling you guys. 6 months of locking in can erase 6 years of bad, fucked up habits. And if you truly lock in, if you truly become this person that loves to get up and go to war with himself, no matter how he feel. Yesterday, I didn't go at 4 in the morning because I knew I got off that plane, you know, the day before. I wasn't finna go at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I knew I was gonna have my ass in that gym. And I keep those promises to myself. I'm better for the people around me, dog. Straight up. I didn't want to go to the toe tag place, but because I knew I needed it and I ain't trying to pay no heavy fines again and my baby boy gonna be driving the car, it's like, you know what? I gotta go take care of that shit. You know, I know for me, I have to do more because for so long, I've always solely depended on people to do the shit that I didn't want to do or didn't have time to do. Now that I've changed my mindset, I'm taking on that challenge now. It's like, oh man, this is easier than what I thought. I don't have to just focus on making the money. I don't have to just focus on being my best self for a customer. Nah, man, fuck them customers and fuck that money. I want to be the best for these people that live under my roof. You know what I mean? Because they going to look at me for shit one day. And I got to be in shape. I have to be the one that's their protector, right? And my babies, you know, they innocent as fuck. So I want to make sure that this version of their dad that they see, damn, he's fit. He's cunning. You know, he doesn't get rattled easy. He's cool. He's calm. I like this version of my dad better. So when my girls see that, they can be like, that's the kind of man I want in my life. He don't panic under pressure. When everything is falling apart around him, he's remaining calm. And I still haven't gotten to that level yet. You know, I'm still reading the books. I'm still working on myself to where, yes, something can be going horribly wrong, but I can't control it. I can only control me, my thoughts, and the words I say and what I do as far as my actions. That's just what it's going to be, guys. So I know that topic can really shake a lot of people because even if you just starting your journey, don't even get in the mindset of, oh, damn, I could gain this all back. Yes, you can gain it all back if you go back to eating goofy shit. Yes, you can gain it all back if you're not trying to stay locked in and do what you need to do. You know, because all you got to do is get lean once. That's some shit I've always heard. And it's like, damn, you know, I wonder what it would be like. You don't ever want to go back. I love the way my clothes fit. Y'all, I had on this blue shirt today. Killer. And it's like, I don't see me. I don't see you how you see me. So when my homeboy Anthony took the video of me today, swinging, I was like, damn, who is this motherfucker? I've never seen myself like that. I haven't. I've always seen a huge back with some rolls off the side and no ass, looking like a upside down dustpan. Yes, that used to be me, dog. That used to be me. But now I got a fucking V-taper, cuts everywhere, and muscles growing out the ass. You know what I mean? So that's why, I like to stress and emphasize, all you got to do is get lean once and lock in. You ain't gonna want to go back. And it's very beneficial, right? You think clearly. You tend to process things a lot better because you have to go into the gym and think clearly. You have to go into the gym and process shit the way you need to, because it not only is it science, but it's emotional, guys. It's spiritual. So fully lock in so you don't have to ever worry about regressing. Make sure that when you do, you locked in, when you like, what, for my cheat meal, I just want more salmon. I just want more chicken. I want a lot more potatoes. Matter of fact, I want to add cottage cheese to it. You want to add more healthy shit to your kick because you know how it feels and you never want to go back. So get the regression out of your mind, because we're not going back. We're going to stay locked in and we're going to keep moving forward because we fucking warriors and that's what we do. You know what I mean? We're not going to regress. We're going to continue to progress. Right? All right. So take everything I just said and really embody that shit, because that's the only reason that I can think of that people lose all that fat and gain it right back, is because they never settled into who they really were supposed to be. They did it for the wrong reasons and their mindset didn't happen. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, if you get into a car wreck and your spine get fucked up or you can't walk again or something physically bad has happened to you, that's understandable. But even then, you can still control what you eat. You can still, if you can walk, you can control that. Just don't give up on yourself. You have to keep pushing. If God was to, God forbid, take away my ability to fucking hear or see, I ain't gotta hear what's going on in the gym, but I'm gonna still go. I gotta see what's going on, but I have somebody with me who will make sure I'm doing my exercises and I can get around. Because if I ain't gonna be down 0 to nothing or nobody. I ain't gonna be down 0 at all. I gotta have, either I gotta even the series or I gotta win the series. And that's the mentality that you guys gotta have. With that being said, don't go back. The only way is forward. This is the way. And that's the only way we're gonna get better, is by moving forward, continuing to move forward, by keeping promises to ourselves, by not thinking about the negative, and always striving to be the best version of ourselves and not playing them fucking away games.